Hello everybody, this is Floopy-Doo and welcome back to another episode of my Factorio Let's Play. For today's episode, I wanna go into the reactor again. As you might remember, in the last episode, we actually worked on designing that whole part and I finished it off camera, laid all the pipes out that are necessary and tried to figure out the throughputs and everything. So basically, we have the output pipes all funneled down towards our tanks. So each output pipe directly goes in. We should have enough. Each of those sections produce about, 12 times 103. So about 1300 something, 1200 something. Steam a second if they would be running at full power. And I also had to add all the pipes that deliver water. So again, each system uses those 1200 and something water a second, so each pipe delivers something above 1200 water. I have 11 pumps each that feed all those tubes. I hope, at least, that I'm gonna have enough distributed through all of them. We will see. But I finished that, let a lot of the stuff finish off camera, and then I have been working on the circuit networks. I initially planned to record an episode about those, but while working on the episode, I actually figured out it's gonna be more complicated than I thought of, and right now I'm not versed enough in circuit networks to just fiddle about it and putting it out of my head, talking and everything. But so I decided to do a lot of it offline. So I want to explain to you how it works, and then actually we can hopefully get everything powered up and see how it does. So it's probably more complicated than it needs to be. Probably, I don't know, maybe not, but I have a feeling it is. And that's mainly because I run a little bit I wanted to do it all by myself, figure it out, and not just copy paste something I found off Reddit. And probably it's not as efficient as it could be, but it's something. And maybe it's even unnecessary what I did. So what I have is in here, this line, this green circuit line that goes all the way down here and connects the bottom row of my tanks. Why I take this row here and not just all of it on something, because I think that everything is funneled to the last and here it's pulled out. So I thought if those ones are empty, then probably the whole tank is empty as well. But then it's kind of complicated how it distributes, and I think that should be a good indication overall. I hope, at least. If that would be changing, I will change it. So now, how does it work? So if it gets here, I built a so-called rising edge detector, or falling edge detector in my case. So I want to have a small, just a pulse to basically just turn on all the reactors at once and fill it with one fuel exactly, not two, just one fuel. So I want to do that, and just one pulse should trigger those. I need to go back. So one pulse. So here I have the green pulse is the output in the end. This will trigger this inserter. Oh god, my brain. this inserter, and this will insert the fuel that is in here. That should be at most 1, and what I configured here, into the reactor. And then it will output it somewhere. And this is basically taking the input here. I took 66K. So that is the number I took. I will output a 1 on the info signal. And the info signal here will get passed into 1, this arithmetic combinator, and this arithmetic combinator here. The second one says if I have the info signal and a dot signal, then output 1. So if this is 1 and this is 1, then the output is 1. If one of those is not 1, then do not output 1. So a signal. It's just a 1 signal. And so every time this condition is true, the info signal is 1. But now I want that only if the info signal changed to a 1, or only if I have a rising an edge, or a rising edge in my case, I want the dot signal to on. So if it's still on, I just want to flip it off. So that means if I have enough, I fall below steam threshold. This here, this one will say, oh yeah, you have been 0 before. That is the opposite of 1. So if you are worse than binary, you know that XOR is just it is exclusive OR. So either one of them needs to be they need to be different, right? So if this one is different, this one says, oh yeah, you changed to you were a 0 you're a 0 now, and you changed to, you are different to 1, then this one is true, right? And here we get it true as well, because that one just got true. So in the first cycle, this both are true, so we emit the pulse. But then this one realized, oh, you are not 0, you're not 0, so you're less than 0. You're a 1 now, so that is not XOR 1, that's not true. So you're a 0, and so you are 0 now, and the whole thing goes. And again, if this one goes below, that one gets a 0, that gets 1, and so on. So it takes a cycle and it flips. Then on the other side, I have another circuit. Then this signal goes into this, and we have an AND combination as well. We have a red signal and my checkmark signal. And the checkmark symbol is then delivered onto the whole thing that connects to each of those inserters, right? Over here. So now, why do I have a red signal? So my thinking is, if I have, like, this thing is toggling, so everything starts up and it starts toggling, it would have multiple pulses all the time, and they would insert too much fuel. So I started to add a circuit that delivers a grace period. So meaning if this one is set to true, I have a safe reset latch, which basically a flip-flop, a toggle flip-flop. So either I can set it or reset it, and it stays that way. So whenever I get that signal, I say, hey, you are now set. And if this one is set, I will start a clock. And this one is the clock over here. So I have a clock that always adds that set signal, which is true now, and true is also 1, so I add 1. So this clock counts up, and if it reaches half, what is it? So if it's 60 a second, so it's about, and 60 a minute. So half a minute has passed, so 30 seconds have passed, I will say, well, you're gonna reset. If you are over 1800, you're just gonna reset. You get back to 0. That is fed back into this clock and is now 0 again plus 1. So if you reach the end, you reset the clock again. This one over here does something else. So this one is kind of, I don't talk about that one as of now, but this one will help reduce some irregularities. So if now this is a clock that constantly works. So in here I say, well, if the clock reaches 0, reset. So this T flip-flop gets a reset, sets S to 0, which doesn't add to the counter anymore. So this counter is stopped. So I get a set signal. This will start the clock up, and if the clock reaches the top, stop and reset. But this creates a problem that we are in a 0 state and you will constantly be reset. And I don't want that. So as soon as I get reset here, say, well, you add 1 to the counter, so you are not 0 anymore, so you are 1 now. And this one just adds 1 to this. So this one is never is that really? Anyhow. So this one just adds it up, so it jumps over this condition, so it gets to the next condition. So this is ready again to do a full cycle. And this one is also to correct for 0. Because if this one is 0 and stops at 0, the whole clock stops. So I have to add 1 so it can restart again. It's kind of weird, but it is as it is. Anyhow, so if I had, then I also added this one and say, well, if I am at 2, which means a full cycle has passed, you say, well, you are now good again to output another signal. So if this, while this grace period is running, it's not 2, and therefore, if it's not 2, that means that another flank cannot be detected. So it has some downsides, but I gonna assume, because I built according to specs, this whole setup should, as it restarts, trigger another outage. So I need to think, maybe it is the wrong circuit and I have to change it later on, but for now that should suffice. So enough talking about that. Next thing I want to do here is just add some unload stations for all my train fuel, and that is reactor. And I have, please, that is reactor. Reactor 1. Reactor. Fuel. Reactor, and here I will say you are the fuel cells. Right, you have a limit of 1 train. And then I copy you please. Or you know. Okay, so reactor fuel with a train limit of 1. And now copy this to here. Okay, that is reactor. Oh, now I don't care about it anymore. So you're the reactor, you have that train limit. and you are the reactor, and you are the empty fuel slot. You will be delivery. You will get another color scheme. Why you are an output scheme. So input outputs. Here, this one is the output, and this one is the input. So here I will probably, it will be more than enough to do something like this. And have a chest here, an output, an input. So this should be more than enough to just fuel that one. And then I need something similar here, but in vice versa. I need a train that actually, I want to fill up this one and then I deliver this one. So I need to move this one over here and add here. So this should be both sides and deliver both trains. Okay, here you go. So we already have those trains ready to go. So they should be working. And here I will do something else. I will also say that well, you are also enabled, disabled, or train limit. I don't want to disable you, I just want to set train limit to, now I need a constant combinator. That's conditional combinator. Here you go. Your connection and here, and then you have a connection here. If this chest has one stack of used fuel cells, so it's bigger than, what is a stack? So let's say about 100 in here. Then you output a signal for checker signal, and this checker signal is checked here. And you will output 1, otherwise you will output 0, right? Right now this one should be disabled, right? Because you don't have anything in here. This one shall be 0 and this one shall be 1. And I actually just have to say, well, I need to do the same here, right? Because I don't, if this one is empty, so here again I will have about 2 slots, about 1 slot over. Slots. It should be more than enough. Well, right now, do I really need it? Do I really care? Not really. I actually can say, well, why make it complicated? It's not worth it. You're 1 again. Here you go. So if you are 1 again, I can take this train and say, well, you have this station and you have this station, and also you have this station over here. Oh, here you just wait till inactivity. The uranium factory until empty, here until full, And that should basically it. Yeah, so I will get you some fuel. So here, I'm gonna have this train over here. So you fill up, you have this station, you have the fuel outlet, and then you have this station. Here you wait until you are full. Yeah, that is a downside. I just... Could I add the fueling in here? No, I can't. Ah, this is unfortunate. Because that makes that the train is... Well... Well, it will have more trains, that it is, so... Still in activity or full. Or... Just about... If a time passes. On the reactor, you wait till you're empty, and here you wait till an activity is over. Again, you can load, and then bring me stuff. So here, now I have to seal all of those. You guys do something like that. Here I will say, well, if you are in here, you are good. And also do this one. Here I have a repath. Once again, here I can close off. I can do some repathing here. And one thing I want to do is I want to have so those are definitely not about equal. So it's something and it works. But yeah. You are full and you will fill that full cycle here. And everything that is excess, that will get filtered out. So you slowly start to fill and I can slowly start to have those filled. The downside is I need to initially fill those with fuel, and I will do so just by that, and they will start building up temperature. And here, yeah, I have slowly building them temperature, slowly. So those will eventually start and eventually fill everything, which is good. Okay, so I guess that's basically it, and I will monitor how everything goes as it builds up. If it has enough power, I will, or delivers enough power for the to the whole grid, I will basically destroy this one over here, and then we will see. I will add some other nice circuitries, especially down here, so stay tuned for the next episode when I continue working on this, the reactor up here, and then eventually getting to the next point, which will be getting into the white science and launching our first rocket. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. You learned something from it. If you have any questions, leave them in a comment. I do very much appreciate any comments and any likes I get on the video. So hope to see you in the next one. Until then.